Hello, everyone. Welcome back. My name's Thundery, Sean. We are looking at the final game of the grand finals. So the final game of the grand finals, yada yada yada. Game 4 of the grand finals, LPL Summer 2021 split. This is between FPX Fun Plus Phoenix and EDG Edward Gaming. I know this is the final game. Does not go to 5 games. I've been spoiled. Oh no. Also, I adjusted the music. No longer Pokemon. We're going with the League of Legends champion music, champion themes. This is the Ornn theme, by the way. Uh, does it work as well? Maybe not, but you know what? I like the vibes, so we're gonna go with it. Anyways, so far, FPX has not. FPX has won one game. Yeah, FPX has won one game. EDG has won two. So FPX backs against the wall. EDG, they've kind of been rolling through it pretty well. In the game that FPX won, it felt like EDG kind of should have won it. It felt like they were in the driver's seat. FPX is kind of not really going for any objectives at all, and that's hurting them a bit in the late game because EDG is able to push them off of Soul, threaten Dragon Soul, whatever. They're getting Rift Heralds more often. And just in general, Viper seems to be performing just extremely well, and Scout is doing a phenomenal job of shutting down Doinby in the mid lane. So for FPX, you're really looking at putting Doinby on something that can be proactive. Like we've seen him on like stuff like Orianna, control mages. I want to see Doinby on Yone. I want to see Doinby on LeBlanc, something that can make plays. So we're gonna go ahead and transition into it, and I think I'll go ahead. Yeah, we got my camera. Let's do it. So getting into champion select here. Again, number one thing. Woof, that music's getting a little loud. Number one thing I want to look at. FPX is on blue side, so of course they get first pick. Bans are Renekton, Jace, Lucian. So really targeting Nuguri up in the top lane. Really targeting, Flandre up in the top lane. Flandre has also been doing phenomenally in this series so far. And then also bans on Irelia, Viego, and Varus. EDG has banned Varus and has taken failures. Those are really the two high priority ADCs on a patch 11-15, like the biggest ones. You do see stuff like Kai'Sa. Also, God, my hair. Woo! Anyways, you do see stuff like Kai'Sa. You see Ezreal. But other than that, and there's some Callista in other regions, but it's really somebody bans Varus, somebody takes Aphelios, and then from there you have lower tier ADCs. Aphelios Thresh, the premier ADC bot, the premier bot lane so far. Ziggs, another viable option. It's a very safe laner, but Aphelios Thresh, very, very safe. Thresh can protect the Aphelios at all costs, since Aphelios is fairly immobile, and can just make sure Aphelios gets to the late game where he can do the hyper carry job pretty darn well. On FPX's side, Nuguri Tian has Lee Sin. Priority on junglers so far in this series has been Lee Sin and Jin Zhao. It is, FPX took Lee Sin. I can almost guarantee that Scout is going to be picking Jin Zhao for JJ. Doinby takes Leona, so we've got Ziggs, Leona bottom lane, and we got Aphelios Thresh bottom lane. Bottom lane sorted out. We'll see if Scout wants to, we'll see if Scout or Flandre wants to pick their champion here, pick their laner here. But that would kind of give FPX an opportunity to get double counter pick, which is not necessarily something you want from EDG. Olaf is up. It's an option. Okay, they grabbed Olaf. I'm pretty sure FPX played Olaf in the first game and it didn't go well, like, at all. Tian was, Tian's a good jungler, but JJ was able to outperform on Lee Sin. But this time, JJ says, you know what? Hey, I'll take this. I'll take the Olaf. You play Lee Sin. I'll see if I can one-up you there. And now I imagine we're going to start seeing either more mid lane bans or more top lane bans. EDG has taken out Twisted Fate. You imagine this might mean, hey, maybe they want to pick up Rise to get a little bit more mobility, although we have seen Galio pop up in this series already. But, these mid laners want to move. They want to be able to respond and go elsewhere. And there we see the Rise ban. No mid laners, I can almost guarantee, unless somebody wants to pick Galio, we are not going to be seeing these global mid lane abilities at all. Rise and Twisted Fate have a lot more presence, have a lot more either pure damage from the Rise or a lot more crowd control. With the Twisted Fate, no gold card Everfrost out of EDG to pick off something like Ziggs in the bottom lane or to freeze up a Lee Sin. Now, for what we could see, we're looking primarily at mid lane and top lane, control mages are still absolutely up. I think FPX is, one reason FPX picked this Ziggs might be to free Doinby up from the control mage. Of course, the Ziggs could go mid lane, but that would feel really bad. They are banning out. We did get, we have 3 mid lane bans: LeBlanc, Rise, Twisted Fate, gone in this second round. And Kennen is banned from the top side, which is interesting. If EDG, maybe perhaps EDG wants to pick something like a Gnar and doesn't want Kennen picked into it, there we go. But if FPX wanted to pick Kennen, then EDG can just pick the Jace. But yeah, looks like EDG just really wanted to flandre on the Gnar. FPX Gwen is up, GP is up. There's plenty of other range top laners still that would work well into Gnar. I mean, heck, even Jace could still be a pretty decent pick into the Gnar. Oh, Jace is banned. Never mind. Jace would not be a good pick into the Gnar. But yeah, GP might be the best pick right now. Which honestly, GP, don't get me wrong, Gangplank is strong, but I feel, if I'm Flandre, I'm feeling pretty all right here. And I said I don't know if we're gonna see the Galio, but we might. Doinby might just be on Galio duty, and yeah, there we go. Unless, yeah. So it looks like Ziggs is in the bottom lane and Galio's in the mid lane. It gives them, some global, and there, of course, the Sylas. Yep. So Sylas can steal. So Sylas can steal Galio's ult. That's the number one thing we're going to be looking at here. So if Galio wants to go ult somewhere, wants to fly across the map and have a heroic entrance, Sylas can do the exact same thing. Other good ults for Sylas to steal: Sylas can steal the Gangplank ult, Sylas can steal Solar Flare, Sylas can steal Kick. Literally, I think, yeah, every single ult, except maybe the Ziggs ult, is something that Sylas would be more than happy to have. And EDG locked in that Sylas so fast. I don't know if they were trying to pinch Doinby into a Galio mid, but if they were just going to pick Sylas no matter what. But good God, if it didn't work. The thing about picking Sylas into Galio. Galio provides magic shield for the team with some, not a ton. And Sylas deals primarily AP damage, right? But Sylas also is just, like, Galio is really useful for his ult and his taunt. Don't get me wrong. Those are very, very useful tools, and they're very good tools, right? But Sylas can just rip through the enemy team and be a good frontliner all at the same time. Sylas is really good at just, if a champion is really focused around their ult, if their main utility of the team is the ultimate, which Galio's is, Sylas is often just a better version of that. There are some champions where it's not quite the same, like Lee Sin. Sylas steals it. The kick is still very good. Kick is very strong, but Lee Sin provides the utility. But Galio, he's there for the ult. Lee Sin is good with the ult and also has a lot of just really good stuff that he can use in team fights. Kingslayer, awesome. Abscond Abduct, awesome, right? Kingslayer, I think that's what it's called. It's something along those lines. Gives him a bunch of health back. But then we've been seeing a lot of builds of Everfrost onto Sylas to almost to stun up, a single target just forever. So I am in the favor. I think EDG has won this draft here. I think a Ziggs Leona bot lane is certainly strong. Ziggs is very self-sufficient. It will, Leona can just go start wandering around, no problem. And Ziggs should be fine into the Thresh Aphelios bottom lane. I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of attention. I imagine we're going to be seeing a lot of attention up towards this GP Gnar lane, really. Like, Ziggs can get ahead, but again, it wants to be on its own. Galio was the one that can. You're not really going to be playing around the Galio, because then why do you have his ultimate? It's not really going to do anything. You want to be playing towards a certain lane, towards a specific lane that Galio can then go and fly to. So, yeah. And here we see anything interesting on the runes? No, yeah, no, nothing too interesting. Hex Flash on the Leona, no Hex Flash on the Thresh. Minion Dematerializer instead. So, that could come up. That could be important. Could be big. I doubt it, though. All right. Let's see where everybody is starting. We have seen leashes bot lane's leash for their junglers, I think, every game. Both bot lanes like to give their junglers leashes. Both junglers have been pathing bot to top and either getting a gank off in the top lane or just backing and then going and helping mid. I imagine we're going to see the same thing again, but only time will tell. Currently, we are very chill. No fun level ones. Nothing interesting, as has been, you know, the MO of both teams thus far. Any interesting items? No, they haven't seen the same. Oh, there are the runes again. Yeah, we do have Predator Galio. So, but that is pretty. I would say that is pretty standard for Galios. Mid lane Galios. Galio wants to get somewhere fast. And being a giant lumbering golem doesn't do that too often. We see wards in this bush down here so that everybody knows. Oh, there's a sweeper. Okay, so, you know, EDG get the vision control in the bottom lane, which again could be big. But yeah. In the meantime, yeah, both junglers. So this time, no leashes. No leashes. Both junglers, though, look like they are, you know, they're starting from their bottom sides. I imagine we're going to see clears up towards the top. I wouldn't be surprised if Tian just gets level 3 and heads straight for the top lane. Meanwhile, JJ on that Olaf is probably going to be trying to power clear all the way up through the Krugs. And we'll see. We'll see if Doinby can really try to win this lane and get his roaming started early, get his mobility started early. That's something that he has not really been able to do these past 3 games. But if he can get that started, you know, make those grand entrances. Flandre is getting extremely low and has to burn his flash at 2.5 minutes. That's going to be highly punishable by Tian if he can get up to the top lane fast enough. Actually, it looks like JJ has cleared his entire bottom quadrant and is going for his red buff. He might be skipping Raptors and just heading for the top lane. He's going towards his Krugs. Yeah, JJ is at his Krugs right now. Interesting. Hook lands on to LWX. LWX is low. LWX has to flash now. Crisp tried to go in to provide some cover and disengage, but flash is blown kind of all over the place. Looks like JJ up near that top side of the map is just going back to his Raptors. Might have just gone up there to cover any potential gank by Tian. Doinby, though, does have priority. Did get the push in. Is able to pop the Scryer's Bloom. Do they see where JJ is? I think they do. Just barely. And JJ goes in and wants to make sure that nothing too crazy happens up there. Mako gets the hook and flay onto Chris. FPX's bottom lane is... They're getting chunked out here. Both are below, at half or below, while EDG is really doing just fine here. Viper kind of showing his strength here. So far in terms of CS, nobody's gotten too far ahead, although Nuguri is, you know, about a wave ahead of Flandre, getting there, but it is pushing into the Gnar. Doinby teleports back into the lane, no TP and provides TP advantage to Scout, but Doinby should, you know, level 6 is approaching soon. Let's see, Leona is heading back to the bot lane. It looks like with Tian, so the support and jungler are heading to that bottom lane. Viper and Mako, they're, you know, they got a little bit of damage on them. That's the safety that Ziggs provides. It's, you know, there's satchel charges, all sorts of other fun stuff. Very good at clearing waves once he hits level 3, level 4. And EDG, no big dives coming in. And JJ doesn't go to a lane, just starts clearing his jungle once more. Doinby and Scout in this mid lane, dueling it out. Doinby so far has been keeping the push into Scout pretty aggressively. CS is literally exactly even. Doinby is just pushed all the way up. There's that ward in the river down there that is making sure that, you know, he knows he's relatively safe from the bottom side of the map. However, he's getting collapsed on now because of his forward presence. Mako gets the flay. Doinby gets the taunt off, goes into the middle. Now there's a 3v3. All of a sudden, EDG just got completely chunked out, but Crisp is getting weak. Mako protects Scout relatively well with the lantern. JJ is so low. Tian's Q almost gets him down. And despite EDG going for the play first, they get pushed off under their turret by FPX. Tien and Chris were able to join in just in time. Tien does get a Q on Mako. Doesn't follow through with it, even though Crisp is right there. And right now, Tien is just more than happy to take away the Raptors from JJ. Heals up with the smite there. So far, nobody has gone for any dragons. FPX, now they're looking to gank on the top lane. There is no wave, though. It's coming in now. Flandre is going to do his best to clear it. JJ is backing, just leaving Flandre to die to the 4-man gank of FPX. There is no Meganar, and that is a pretty clean kill. Doinby gets his reward for the roam. Flandre goes down. That's first blood over to FPX, along with some turret plates. Mako gets the cheeky hook on the LWX, brings Viper in. LWX is in some danger here. It goes back under turret. There is a wave. If Mako and Viper want to go for the dive. LWX was at the satchel charge. Gangplank ultimate comes down, slows Viper and Mako, but there is a wave there. And now LWX is... We got some alcove gaming here, but I don't think he's going to be able to make it out of this one. Mako does go down. Viper gets pushed back. Is LWX going to try to get the execute here? If Viper gets a shot on him, it's absolutely no problem. And he just... Tower shot hits him, and LWX had the tag on him. So 1 for 1 in the bottom lane. LWX for Mako. I mean, I think, generally, I think you're all right with that if you're Viper. You denied a fair amount of CS from LWX. And EDG, once again, gets the first Drake. I believe they're 4 for 4 on first Drakes. Meanwhile, Nuguri is getting plenty of plates in this top lane. And is, so far they now have a 1.5k gold lead at 7 minutes. Pretty, if you're FPX, you're not feeling too bad about this. Really, but you want to make... Crisp walks right by that red buff, and I don't think he saw anything. JJ holding that thing and holding the Bramble back in the bush. Very good kiting there, and Tiana's going to jump over here, see his red buff is gone, and... Woo! JJ, covert operations, does a phenomenal job of sneaking that by Crisp and Tien. Mako here... harassing LWX, manages to bring Viper in with the lantern, and here we see LWX does a very good job of, kiting away, kiting back. The Gangplank ult there is extremely helpful, getting, a single tower shot off and slowing down Mako and Viper. LWX is able to get Viper chunked out, but of course, the timer was not long enough on the execute, and so he falls. Unfortunate. But that red buff steal, evens up, or well, it doesn't really even up JJ and Tian. JJ is still down a few camps now at this point. Flandre does have a wave building up here that's about to push in. Both junglers are on the top side of the map, but Doinby has the first roam after Scout backed, and does not have the teleport to get back into lane. That ward there is going to spot out JJ. Decides to start the Rift Herald, despite not, bottom lane has moved up first, support and ADC. Meanwhile, Ziggs is only in the bot lane. Does have his ultimate, does have that global package. Well, not package, that's quirky, but it's not Super Mega Death Rocket. It's a really big bomb. I'll remember the name of it at some point. JJ, though, just gets to do this Rift Herald entirely uninterrupted. And once again, FPX, even though they have priority in the mid lane and their jungler is doing pretty all right, Flandre's push in the top lane, they say, you know what, no, the objective is not worth it. FPX in the meanwhile, they do get several plates off of this bottom turret, and so, this time at least, while EDG is getting these objectives, FPX is getting at least, relatively equal trades elsewhere. 2 plates in the bottom lane, 3 plates in the top lane. That more than equals the Rift Herald. Noguri at this point is completely pushed in by Flandre. The wave is finally pushing back a little bit, but Flandre is once again going to be able to push this all the way in. Doinby's had like perma push this entire game, and while Scout is losing some CS, it's not that much, right? He's not even a full wave behind, and so despite having the push, Doinby is not up on CS. So kudos to Scout for keeping that CS relatively even. Flandre is only 10 behind at the moment, even though he does have the full push right now. A lot of, there is still a little bit of gold advantage in the CS difference. Doinby, though, we'll see if he wants to keep pushing up. After the last dive on mid went relatively well for FPX, right? Doinby survived just fine. Two more came in to back him up, and no kills occurred. Crisp, in the meantime, is wandering about, placing some wards deep into the EDG jungle. And LWX, while he was killed in the bottom lane before, is still feeling relatively safe. His wave clear only gets stronger as he levels up, and for the moment, it's a relatively chill game, a relatively calm game. EDG Viper does have Gale Force now at this point, and Nuguri does have Trinity Force, so 2 mythic items completed across the board. Trinity Force on Gangplank is, I wouldn't say it's the new hotness, but I think it's probably the new correct build. Divine Sunder was pretty good. Riptide was dropped in mid. Doinby is getting chunked out by Scout and JJ, but now Tian and Nuguri are there. Scout gets kicked into Nuguri, takes the Lee Sin kick, but is not able to use it to defend himself, and he falls relatively quickly. In the meantime, JJ just says, all right, Scout, goodbye, good luck. Flandre goes up to the top lane after briefly trying to roam down to help his mid laner, but can't really get anything else off it. He's gotten a single plate off the top lane, 3 plates off in mid, so plates at this point are pretty much, I think they're exactly even? No, not quite. All right, so let's take a look at this. So, once again, Scout and JJ, they have the numbers advantage. Doinby gets the taunt off, right? It's looking good. The Riftchild gets the charge off, charges into Scout, bumps him up. JJ wanders back, and then Tian gets the kick onto Scout, and Scout does actually use the kick, but it's pretty much the moment that he dies, and does not get a whole lot of work out of it. JJ, we'll see. JJ has not had any impact on the map so far. In previous games, he's been very proactive. He's been, on the Lee Sin, on the Jin Zhao, kicking Nuguri into Flandre, kicking Doinby around. But this time, all right, Gnar ult goes into Nuguri, and then all of a sudden, Flandre no longer has a Mega Gnar. JJ walks up here, and it's basically a 1.5 v2. Doinby had the teleport and didn't even have to use his ult. Now we got some stuff going on the bottom lane. We see a Ziggs ult come out. Viper gets brought back by the Thresh Lantern. Currently has red-white guns, so maybe he could fight this if he wants to, or could at least defend the dive. But Tian says, you know what, no, we'll finally go for more than the 3rd dragon. And they get the Mountain Drake. Viper is going to do his best to clear this wave. Gets pushed back a little bit by LWX, but nothing too scary at the moment. He has his trusty Thresh there to defend. And meanwhile, there are 4 in the bottom river for FPX. And JJ is just continuing to power farm, but is still lower in CS than Tian. So JJ, despite having no assists, has made no proactive plays on the map, has less CS than Tian across the board. And this is where you kind of question, was the Olaf pick worth it? Like, Olaf is something, it's not somebody where you can set up a gank. Ganks have to be kind of set up for you to an extent. It's not as good as a Lee Sin or a Jin Zhao at being, at engaging and being able to go in and provide support for your laners. And, that's reflecting, but at the same time, the benefit, what's supposed to be the benefit of Olaf is that he's supposed to be a really efficient power clearer. And right now, Tian is beating him on literally all levels. Look, JJ can't even walk into the river, right? He can't even get close. Viper and Mako are currently, they are the only thing that EDG have going for them. JJ and Flandre are up top, but Tian is going in essentially, and there's Doinby with the massive ult. Flandre is going down easy in the Baby Gnar form, and there goes JJ. All he can do is die. No assist, hardly does any damage here. Doinby came in. It looked like he was already relatively chunked out. He probably, he was the one that was taking the church shots. The Ziggs ult now clearing the wave as best as possible. And Viper and Mako get hit with so much damage from the satchel charge. Mako goes down, gets LWX a kill. Viper is weak. We'll see if Crisp wants to go in here. No, is just going to clear out a ward. And Viper manages to survive, but Mako goes down. It's 6 kills to 1 for FPX. This Doinby being able to fly around the map is doing so much work, and JJ is, Tian is completely outclassing JJ in the jungle right now. So let's see what happens here. Yep, so Tian gets the Q onto JJ, right? And then Doinby just does so much damage, and then he is the one taking almost all the tower aggro, and he's the one taking all of and gets a massive taunt onto JJ. And then LWX here. All right, so turret shot onto Viper. Turret shot onto Mako along with the satchel charge, and then the last turret shot onto Mako. It would have, one of them was going to die either way. Better that the Oh goodness, here we go. Flandre is getting chunked out by Tien again. When the jungler is the same level as your top laner, you know stuff's going wrong. The taunt comes out from Doinby, and there he goes. Doinby is now 3-0-2 on this Galio. You know, I was questioning whether or not he would be able to have a keep up with CS with Sylas once he started roaming, once he started moving around. But he's done that, and he's gotten 3 kills out of it. The only person with a kill or an assist is Viper on the side of EDG. FPX is just rolling right now. EDG, their first turret is going to be this single one in the bot lane if Viper manages to take it. Scout is just sitting here wondering what the hell he can do as FPX just take the tier 2. Viper isn't even able to get the bot lane turret. LWX now, Ziggs completely deletes turrets off the map. JJ can get absolutely deleted here if Crisp and LWX want to. Lane, though, gets cleared out. Mako showed up as backup, and now FPX has decided, you know what? Let's start the neutral objectives. Let's start the health. And Viper is still just chipping away at this turret, but here comes the Ziggs bomb, chunks him down to half, takes away his wave. Viper just can't do anything here. Like, the man is doing everything. Like, the man is really trying to get any gold here, any CS to try to be any form of late game carry, and it's just not happening. JJ is chasing Doinby around as if he could actually like try to kill him, but he has Doinby has 2 levels on JJ. You know, now it's a 3v1, but I doubt, between like Viper already is chunked out. He does have red-white gun, so he's gonna be able to do a fair chunk of damage. Oh man, but now Mako and JJ have just decided to recall. No dive is happening. And EDG finally got that bot lane turret. Flandre is now rotated to the mid lane, and lane assignments have proceeded to get wonky. Scout is top lane. Looks like the FPX bottom lane is in the mid lane. And we'll see who goes top to answer Scout here. But honestly, if you're FPX, I don't think you really have to. EDG has to answer you. FPX is going to start tearing down more turrets. I wouldn't be surprised to get this mid lane turret here soon. And because currently Rift Herald is still in Tian's hands. And, if you're Tian, you can drop it mid lane. I mean, you can drop it bot lane and get the tier 2, or you can drop it mid lane and try to get both turrets. I mean, right now, it doesn't seem like EDG can contest you. They're 7,000 gold down at 17 minutes. It's not even relatively close. They don't even have to use the Herald to take this first tower, and so they drop it bot lane, is what it looks like. Where is Shelly? You can't even see her. Oh, she was there. I just couldn't see her. Yep, she got the charge off in the middle of all the FPX blue. And yeah, there goes the tier 2. 2 turrets in the span of about 30 seconds. And FPX gold lead jumps now up to 8,000. And LWX is now just able to sit in this mid lane and harass and just taunt 3 members of EDG, right? They can't even approach a single Ziggs, right? He doesn't have his ultimate, nothing. And now FPX are starting to stack Drakes. EDG, to their credit, they got the first Drake. FPX is not at soul point. EDG do not have to fight it yet, but since this is Infernal Soul with a Ziggs, with a Gangplank, I think you kind of have to fight Soul Point. So maybe, EDG can probably let the third one slide if they want to try to scale up. They want to try to wait for Aphelios to get big and have awesome Moonlight Vigil ultimates and completely tear through all of FPX. But until that point, like, there's not much that they can do. Viper is their primary source of damage here. JJ and Flandre can do, and Scout, they can all do good damage, but Viper is going to be the thing that's going to be able to get through this Galio, get through this Lee Sin, and get through this Gangplank. And right now, they're just, you know what? They've actually not been losing too badly in CS. Flandre has not, was down a fair amount, has not lost any more since then, has hovered around about a 30 CS deficit for like 10 minutes now. And JJ has caught up a little bit in the jungle, but has still not gotten any kills or assists. EDG is just struggling to be proactive at all this game. And I think their hope is to just sit and wait on a turret. Meanwhile, JJ gets taunted, Everfrosted, has to Ragnarok out of there at less than half HP. Like, FPX's damage is it's so much burst. It happens so quickly. And now they don't even have Baron, and they're saying, all right, we're going to get this tier 3 turret. Mako gets engaged on and gets completely deleted. Baron is up, but the base is broken before FPX even has to turn to it. That's a 20-minute inhibitor. Are they going to try to go for inhibitor number 2 here? FPX is they've just they've decided, hey, let's get in this base here. Let's make it a party. Are they going to try to end it? I mean, it's currently a 4v5 on the map, but EDG has 2 turrets. Tian is going so far in, gets a kick off to Flandre, but Tian is at their nexus and is fighting 3v1. He goes down. He got a good gore drinker off. He got plenty of damage onto Flandre, but he literally just kicked him into the fountain. And now EDG can say, all right, I mean, your jungler's dead. You can't do Baron at this point, right? And, you know, unless... Dragon is up in 2.5 minutes, so I guess the good news is that there's nothing that EDG can really try to take here. Their Baron isn't the quickest right now. You know, Viper's guns currently are probably not the correct one. You know, we saw Red White a little while ago. If he cycled through those quickly enough, maybe he's back at it. But yeah, let's take a look at this. So Lee Sin Q onto Mako, and then Ziggs bomb goes in and just absolutely deletes him with the gangplank all on top of it. Just like so many ults used there. And then we see Flandre is over here harassing, has the Meganar, and really it's a 3v5 right now with Scout in the top lane. And Tian decides to go in here, gets Nard into the wall, gets hit with so much damage. A good gore drinker here gets him back up to full. But then his kick puts Flandre close to the tower, and Scout with the respawn kick is able to pretty much clean it up. FPX decides, hey, let's go ahead and go for it with your jungler back up. They're saying, hey, EDG, you can't contest this. We bet you can't contest this. But there's a TP. Flandre is back, has absolutely nothing on the Narbar. Doinby is sitting here. Mako goes in. Mako gets down to half, but JJ is able to steal it with the Ragnarok, with the smite. Tian's smite was down. Tian gets Mako, but JJ dies, but EDG get the Baron. I don't think Tian's smite was up, or if it was, he mistimed it. Did JJ even have to smite? How did that steal even happen? We saw JJ Mako. Okay, so Mako went over the wall, dragged JJ, did not have to flash, dove over the wall, brought JJ over with the lantern since JJ does not have the flash. And now, you know, EDG, there's signs of life. Okay, let's see this replay here. All right, FPX burned down the Baron. Doinby gets the Frostfire. Mako goes in, brings in JJ. Where's the smite? Tian uses the smite early and JJ gets it. Oh my goodness. JJ didn't even use smite. Tian just smited 200 damage early. Oh, that's going to be rough. Now, yeah, as we can see here, it's for EDG, it's not about trying to push in and take turrets. At the moment, it is about getting your waves pushed out, farming gold, and trying to, regain any presence on the map. The gold lead has dropped from, I think it was close to 9k, now only down to 7,000. But FPX still have control over the river, and they still get this dragon, even with the Baron buff. No turrets have been taken for EDG. They are simply, they're using these Baroned up minions to make sure that they can help clear waves, they can help clear out the super minions, and just slowly and steadily farm up. Viper is now getting scary. Gale Force plus Collector. I'm surprised at the Collector when they're this far behind. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm also surprised at the Gale Force. Normally we see stuff like Shield Bow, but I guess Viper just wants to get in there, right? I mean, might as well. At this point, you're so far down or at the point when you bought it, actually, that's the thing. Viper hasn't been down, right? Viper is the one on the side of EDG that has been doing anything. Both kills are on him, right? So, which is good news for, if you're going to have your kills somewhere, you want it on your Aphelios, right? And that's pretty much, at this point, that's pretty much what the rest of the team is for. Olaf is there to be just to be frontline for the Aphelios. Has Gore Drinker, has Phage, but does not have the 2 items yet. We see Tian has the Gore Drinker and the Black Cleaver, which is actually interesting, not the Sterix Gauge. These are some interesting, we're seeing some interesting item builds here. Mythics, we do have Mythics across the board, though. Everfrost, of course. Doinby does also have Everfrost, so dueling Everfrost Zonias in the mid lane. And then Trinity Force, Collector, and Chempunk Chainsword in the top lane for Nuguri, who, builds that. He's built that pretty much for JJ and Scout. Flunder doesn't have too much HP, doesn't have too much healing right now. But as for what we have on the map right now, EDG are still pretty much locked in their base, right? It is rough at the moment. And here we see, yeah. So Tian and Doinby are just doing absolutely phenomenal jobs. Damage percent 25% for Tian, 23% for Doinby, kill percentage for Doinby 62%. You can see this Galio is really, really doing some heavy lifting here. He is able to be an additional man everywhere he goes. Absolutely no problem. And it's with 10-2 on the scoreline. EDG needs to start getting picks, right? But it's so hard to get picks when there's a Galio on the field, right? When there's a Galio on the Rift. It forces EDG to group up. It forces them to be a big death ball, and any 1v2 situation, anytime when somebody's caught out, they're not really caught out. Especially right now, because global gangplank ult, global Galio ult, gangplank can teleport, global Ziggs ult, right? No one is ever, even if somebody is alone on the side of FPX, nobody's ever truly alone. And here we see Scout getting chunked out by Ziggs and gangplank. Just so much damage. He's already down to half. Doesn't even have time to get a heal off before he has to get dragged back by Thresh with the lantern. And here we see this inhibitor just respawned, right? It has been less than a minute since the inhibitor respawned, and it's almost down again. But FPX, Tian is so low, and Viper with the Moonlight Vigil gets him down. The hook lands onto LWX. Doinby does not get a taunt off. FPX manages to escape with only one loss, but EDG, Viper, as we said, once we hit the late game, Viper is slowly and steadily getting stronger. And he's not been shut down, right? There's a 200, the only person on EDG that has not died is Viper, and you can see it here. So here you see FPX, Tian is a little too far up. The hook lands on him. They try to throw in all of the damage that they can from the side of FPX, but Tian was just on the wrong side of the wall, and then the Moonlight Vigil from Viper is just absolutely flawless with the purple gun. It's essentially a mini Ezreal ult, and it does so much damage. And especially with, I don't know if I'm gonna be honest, I didn't notice you had this Infinity Edge before or after, but I'm pretty sure he just got it, and now it's going to be doing even more damage. And finally, EDG get this tier 1 mid turret. It goes down at 27 minutes. That's just how much control FPX has had over this game so far, that they've not been able to collapse on the side lanes. And now this game feels a little bit more even. There's a 6k gold lead, right? Which is still relevant, but it's way less relevant than a 7k gold lead at 10 minutes, that whatever it was, 15, 17 minutes, right? 10 minutes ago. And so EDG feels much, much better about this. FPX is setting up around the Baron again. We'll see if they want to go for it. Maybe this time, fingers crossed Tian gets the smite off, but Tian has no flash right now, and LWX also has no flash. Flash is up for everybody on the side of EDG except for JJ, who doesn't have one. And now Flandre is, looking out. Literally just the presence of EDG has pushed FPX off the Baron. Maybe they were trying to sneak it. I don't know. But now Infernal Drake is up in 5, and EDG is in the river first. FPX is absolutely going to try to, okay, looks like FPX is going to trade this, or at least try to trade this. EDG is prepared to aggro the dragon. Viper does have red-white guns though, so he is ready to fight. And Scout has the Leon ult, which is a very good one to have here. Everfrost comes out. Ziggs ult completely deletes Mako and forces JJ into the Ragnarok. He manages to escape. Tian gets chunked out just a little bit, and the Gangplank ult on top does not catch anybody to slow them down. JJ is starting to heal up, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Q lands onto him. Tiana goes in, gets the Gore Drinker, gets the E, but doesn't kill him. Galio comes in and hits absolutely nobody. Scout, Flandre can go into a 4v2. They manage to take out LWX, and Flandre is low. Scout goes on Doinby. Viper is in there, though. Viper is ready to carry this game on his back, and Viper gets a triple kill. Viper is absolutely carrying this game. He had no right to do that. That was a 3v1. The rest of his team was nowhere near. Mako had to recall, and Scout was busy fighting Doinby, and Viper just cleans up the fight. Let's watch. Okay, let's go through this again. So, JJ, weak. Scout on the wrong side of the wall, and Flandre is away from his ADC. Galio, again, as we said, comes in and hits nobody, and currently, EDG was split. FPX was in a pretty good spot. Flandre gets a half-decent ult, but then all of a sudden, he's melted. Scout is over fighting Doinby, and it's literally a 3v1, but Viper has red and white guns. Those guns completely tear through EDG's, their entire front line, or FPX's entire front line. Like, that's 7,000 damage. Like, Viper didn't even kill the squishiest members of FPX. It killed Leona, Tiana, and Nuguri, who were the 3 tankiest. Galio was pretty tanky, but you understand what I'm saying. That is absolutely insane. EDG get the dragon. They stop the Baron. It's 13-7. There's now 6 kills on Viper. He has Runan's Hurricane on top of it. This man is insane. He is 1v9ing this game right now. There is not a single kill on the rest of EDG. Woo! All right. So it looks like FPX wants this Baron. They're thinking about it, right? They're really considering it, but it might just be that they don't want EDG to take it. I mean, at this point, the gold, we see the gold lead, but when it comes to items, everybody is pretty much equal. However, Viper is the one that has the item advantage on his counterpart, right? LWX, and heck, LWX only has the Morelnomicon. So, or Morellos, however you want to say that. Or Morelnomicon, I don't know. But, yeah, LWX does not have 4 items, and Viper's just ready to roll. FPX is starting this Baron once again. It went pretty decently last time. The Scout this time has the Gangplank ultimate, so can throw that over top for a dangerous little bit of crowd control. Doinby is zoning off EDG as best as possible. This Baron is so slow that FPX just have to give it up. FPX just have to say, no, we can't do this anymore, because it just wasn't going down fast at all. Now EDG, they're still hovering around this, Rambleback pit, fishing for picks. Do they, they know FPX moved away. Doinby uses the Everfrost. It's equivalent. It's gonna be, it's gonna be off for a little bit if EDG want to try to engage. Currently, FPX are moving towards the bottom river, but nothing, there's nothing to fight for down there. Baron's, Baron's the only neutral objective up at the moment. But these teams just want to fight. EDG, Flandre, and JJ are just running down Crisp. And Crisp is already at 1/3. Locket of the Iron Solari has to get used just to make sure people don't die from Scout's stolen Gangplank ultimate. And with Crisp low, do FPX want to come back? They don't know that EDG is hiding. They don't know that Mako and Flandre are in this bush. A teleport is coming back from LWX. EDG reveals themselves, and once again, we are A-ramming down this mid lane here. Viper still on those red-white guns. Absolutely wonderful use of the ammo here. Doinby is trying to chase down JJ. Tiana and Nuguri are following behind, but JJ just uses the Ragnarok and runs away, and FPX can't get anything out of that long, just stare back and forth in the mid lane. Nobody's at the Baron. FPX maybe want to go for it. The side lanes are just kind of left to their own devices right now. Feels like whoever gets the good engage here, Scout gets chunked out by Nuguri, but oh my god, Viper! Jesus Christ! Over the wall, can't even see the man, and he takes him out. I don't even think the Moonlight Vigil hit! That damage was insane! The green gun coming in clutch there right at the end. And now EDG says, yeah, man down, let's absolutely go for it. No Gangplank ult over the top, and FPX knows that they have to fight this. The game is teetering on a nice edge. What was once a solid lead that's now dangerously close to falling from their grasp. FPX starts the backs. They get interrupted. 2 make it back. It's now a 3v3 around the Baron pit. And the rest of EDG starts on the way back. Nuguri is respawning soon, but doesn't have teleport, so has to walk down the lane. Let's check this pro view. Who is this? This is Viper? Okay, let's see. Yep, okay, so he does have vision. Ah. Okay, so he did have vision there, and the Moonlight Vigil was the thing that was able to get it just at the last moment. But now this Drake is up. All right, Dragon is up. Gangplank is still walking down, is still not there yet. Doinby goes in, tries to get the taunt. JJ goes into the Ragnarok. He's at half health. Scout is now in here, though. Mako is trapped in the Gangplank. Oh, Scout goes golden in. JJ gets the Dragon. Flandre goes down for it. Scout has to go golden again. Viper is untouched on the other side, though. Mako goes down. It's currently a 2 for nothing. Well, 2 for the Drake on the side of EDG. Viper is at full health, but does not have red or white guns. Tian almost gets Scout with the Q. Scout is low. Tian is, and goes in on Tian, gets the Kingslayer, gets the heal. Tian is almost got him though. Scout gets the 1v1, is he going to get the 1v2? Crisp is low. Crisp is only support. Everfrost comes out, but meanwhile, in the base, the rest of the team is going for the kill. JJ goes down. It's currently Viper versus Doinby and LWX. Viper gets Nuguri again. And during this entire time, Scout is just toying with Crisp and ends up winning the 2v1 despite having less health than the Lee Sin to start with. Viper and Flandre hold off the assault on the base. Scout wins the 2v1 on the bottom side of the map and is now going to take a turret for it. The gold lead is completely irrelevant. Both teams are on soul point. And despite EDG's base having been open for 16 minutes, all EDG has been able to do is repeatedly break open that inhibitor turret. And all that's done is give EDG more time to farm super minions. It's given them more gold and more experience. Finally, there are some other kills now on Scout and Flandre, but Viper is still at 8-0-1. This man is insane. Doinby's going in on Scout while the rest of EDG is taking the Baron. A very, very close ultimate from LWX almost steals it, but gets out in time. Nobody dies, and now EDG is wearing purple. All right, let's see here. So JJ is sitting here going away at this Baron, goes into Ragnarok, and Scout goes in. Scout gets the attention of all of the members of FPX, right? They turn their focus away from the dragon due to Scout diving in there. He almost sacrifices his life for it, has to use both Zhonya's and his stopwatch, but he gets the Galio ult, which might actually be why he survived against Crisp in the bottom lane, since he no longer has that. But now like that key survival, right? Scout making sure he gets out of that alive, lets him get rid of Tian, lets him get rid of Scout so that they cannot go traipsing up to his base, and he allows Viper and Flandre to hold. Currently there are, whoa, oh my god. Okay, look at the levels across the game right now. While FPX still technically has turret advantage, gold advantage, and they're even in dragons, EDG has 3 members at 18. FPX only has 1. And EDG now, this siege is going swimmingly. They get the first tier 2 turret. They get the second tier 2 turret for them. They're about to get the third tier 2 turret. Third tier 2 turret. Doinby can hardly do anything against Scout. Goes in, tries to get the taunt, but Scout just says, you know what, no, we're just going to walk away from this. The wave does get cleared, but this turret is so low. Hook's going wide. No engages are hitting so far. JJ did get an axe onto Crisp, but now Flandre is harassing from the side here. Viper, oh, look at Viper. He wants it so bad. He is ready to strike a TP into the mid lane from Scout. He's ready to take this tier 3 turret. And in the meantime, Doinby has to go golden. Mako and Viper get engaged on by Tian, but Tian goes golden himself. Mako gets chunked out so low. Nuguri with the ultimate over the top. Doinby with the ultimate over the top. Tian goes down. Mako goes down. There goes Viper. That's the carry gone. JJ Flandre, y'all have to get out of there. Scout is still in the mid lane. He's at full health, though, and hey, he has a Rabadons and a Zhonya's. As far as we're concerned, he's still ready to scrap, but with Viper going down, Viper got caught. That's the one way you can deal with Viper, right? Get him in that choke point, put a GP ult on him, hit him with Gangplank over the top, and then hit him with the Ziggs ult. I think the Ziggs ult came in here, or at least the Ziggs damage in. Doinby got the Everfrost onto Mako, though, which was huge. Tian hit Mako, and then went on to Viper. Viper did use his flash to get out of there, and then, but yeah, the ultimate's over the top. The taunt here, Crisp doing so much work. Nuguri finally hits him with the parlay, and that's what takes him out. So Viper does lose the Baron buff, right there. The gold that they were gaining from the Baron gets, nixed a little bit, and Viper does not get as much time out on the Rift. That allows FPX to have a little bit more security, have a little bit more safety. Viper did, but the good news is Viper didn't have to use the cleanse, so he's not completely, completely out of options yet. Good guy Mako, making sure that his immobile support can get over the wall that he can walk through fast enough. Who's getting the blue buff here? Looks like Scout is. Understandable. Silas, at this point in the game, shouldn't have too many mana troubles, but always helpful. And so here's the fight for soul, right? The good news for Viper, he respawned just in time, right? This is the important fight. And EDG just take it. FPX doesn't even get a chance to contest. They just sat there and watched it. Tian didn't even try to go in for the steal. And now FPX is trying to go in for the mid lane. They're trying to get something, anything in trade for this. But it's nothing, right? They're stealing, they stole away Raptors. And that's all they get in exchange for the soul. And now, okay, it looks like Leona ult coming in here. Crisp, Zenith Blade misses. LWX gets the Ziggs ult. But right now, and it looks like Crisp is caught. Manages to survive. Moonlight Vigil doesn't get enough damage out right now. But that's a lot of ults used across a lot of members. Good news for FPX. Their main globals are still up and active. And despite Crisp getting low, it looks like everybody's going to be able to recall and get out of there. Both teams are going to reset, and I imagine we're going to see them meet in the middle once again for a little bit more ARAM action. We'll see who wants to push out the side lanes. Flandre is going to a side lane, and nobody else. Flandre does have teleport. Negri also has teleport. I'm interested as to why he's not, why he's not partaking in the wonders of side lane pushes. It could just be that FPX don't trust their 4v4 or their 3v3, and Scout says, thank you for the gangplank ult. And that's, God, this Sylas is now that we're in the late game with the Rabadons, with the Everfrost, with the Zonias, a Dark Seal with 7 stacked. To be fair, Doinby has a Medjai's with 25 stacks on it. So he's doing pretty all right for himself. He's 5-0. All right, for all the praise I've been giving Viper, Doinby is 5-0 and 10, right? He is also doing absolutely phenomenally on this Galio pick, right? He is everywhere. Of the 18 kills that FPX has, he's been part of 15 of them. So he's looking pretty good. It is Viper versus Doinby here, and who's surprised? Not me. Chakram's spinning out there, but not close enough to really ramp up the damage. In this game, we're now at 42 minutes. Baron comes up in 13, Elder in pretty much 4. Whoever wins this next fight could very well win the game due to how long these respawn timers are. Look at all of that shielding on Viper. He now has a Guardian Angel. Viper's at full build. If he goes down once, he'll be coming back up. And if you're FPX, that's an absolutely terrifying thought. LWX is looking strong, right? We see, the magic piercing, the magic piercing crystal on LWX, which is going to be big. There's double Rabadons, right? Lots of damage for FPX, but it looks like Crisp wants to go in on Scout, but the rest of the team didn't want to follow up. Frozen Heart, not Frozen Heart, Everfrost comes out, gets a little bit of a stun off. Doinby is chasing. In the meantime, Ziggs zones off the rest of EDG from collapsing on the flank, but now FPX has to run. Scout used the Gangplank. I don't know whose Gangplank all that was, to be quite honest, but now FPX, they're getting pushed into the river. Moonlight Vigil comes out, but it does not hit anyone. If it had, the members that it would have hit were so weak on the side of FPX, and now we're starting to get recalls. Nuggery no longer has a flash, neither does Doinby. There is the global ultimate from the side of Doinby with the hero's entrance. Ziggs used his bomb, though, was not able to get the steal. He used it so early. The Baron is so low, but Tian is here. Scout is ready to mess with him. Tian goes in, but JJ does not mess up the smite this time. Doinby goes in with the Galio ult, goes golden immediately, but he is about to get completely obliterated. Viper is right there, dude. And in the meantime, Scout was just zoning away the rest of FPX in a 3v1. LWX right now is just trying to push away the rest of EDG, but he doesn't stand a chance against Viper and JJ. And there we see Mako engaging on the backline. Nuggery goes down. Scout goes golden, but that gold won't last very long. And there goes Crisp. Goodness gracious, that is an ace for the side of EDG. And as I was saying, these respawn timers are so long. There's a Baron buff for EDG, and what looked like such a strong game for FPX to start off. Some awesome heroics from Viper and JJ leads to a victory, 3-1 in the series for EDG, and they are your LPL champions. Your first seed going into Worlds puts FPX at second seed. That was a hell of a game, though. That was super exciting. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Seeing comebacks like that is always so fun. JJ was not... JJ was just so far out of that game early, right? He did not have any kills. He did not get any assists. He wasn't doing anything in lane. And then he decided... And then he said, finally, I need to stop touching my hair. You know what? It looks the way it looks. He finally said at that first Baron, he said, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. Tian mistimes the smite. That is that's not the straw that broke the camel's back, but that was the turning point for the game. JJ might have died, but he got the Baron, and that is what saved it for EDG. And then Viper from there just completely, like, just deleting FPX off the map. It was absolutely terrifying. He died once the whole game. Almost didn't die, but ended up dying for the dragon. I would say worth it. But thank you all so much for watching. We'll see what the next one I wanna cast analyzes. But for now, be safe, be smart, make wise decisions. Farewell.